All right, guys, so the question I get often is how much does your ethnicity matter? Okay, this is one of those things where, I'm a white guy, okay, so students will tell me, oh, you
Good
don't
looking
understand.
too.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I work very hard on that. If you saw Mike saw my diet and what I've been eating, I go above and beyond to get in shape and look good. So I appreciate that, but guys will say, you're white, how do do you know what it's like? Or how can it work for a guy who's another ethnicity? Well, first off, I've been teaching for 10 years, and if I could only teach good-looking white guys, I wouldn't have much of a business because there's a lot more people than just that in the world, and usually super good-looking natural guys don't need help. Okay, so I've taught guys from all different race and this and that, whatever. But we're fortunate today that we have Mike on, who is another race as well. So I want to get his take on it because Mike's the fucking best guy I know, the coolest guy I know. Ladies love him, guys love him. He's got a successful business. He's just the fucking greatest guy, dude. You're the fucking greatest guy ever. So I was talking to a student and he was saying that he was actually Asian. And he's like, I'm an Asian guy. Is it going to be tougher for me? Will this work for me or whatever? And, I always say that whatever you think in your head, if you're going to think that you're limited, it's going to manifest, right? If you think you're awesome, then it doesn't matter what you are, right? But I want to get some practical tips from you.
Sure.
What's your take on that, Mike? If you're a minority, you're not just a white guy,
Sure.
and you're picking up women, is there a difference? Does it matter as much? And what would you say about that?
So the first thing I would say is to put all your energy on things you can't control. So very similar to Joe, I wasn't born with a lot of natural gifts. I'm 5'5", and long story short, my family and I moved to Canada when I was 17, and at that point I was 60 pounds overweight. I used to weigh 200 pounds, at 5'5". I had really bad acne on my face, and I didn't speak English, believe it or not, and back in high school I had a really difficult time fitting in with my friends because I didn't understand the lingo. Like, my friend back in high school would be like, yo, that's sick, and I was like, does he need medicine? Because I was genuinely worried because I didn't know. I didn't catch the slangs and stuff like that.
I love that.
But regardless, even though I didn't have a lot of natural advantages, I can't do much about my height or my skin color, but I shifted my focus and started putting all my attention and energy on things within my control. So, for example, so like what, right? Like, so my grooming, for example, I make sure I get a cool haircut. Styles, another thing, I make sure I buy clothes that, it enhances my positive features. So I work out too, so I make sure I buy clothes that fit. I go to the gym, very similar to Joe, I eat healthy. I read a lot of books, I read about a book a week. And also, I'm in control of my life. I run my own business. I've traveled quite a bit. I've built a social circle in a lot of major cities in North America. So, even though girls wouldn't necessarily put me in this category of classically good looking. As soon as I approach and I open my mouth and I start talking, then that's when I feel like I change their mind because I have so much more to offer than, my height or my skin color. So that's the first thing I would say. I say control the controllables.
Yeah.
The second thing is you want to play games you can win. So personally, online dating apps don't work for me, right?
Me neither.
Yeah, I just didn't do well, with Bumble and Tinder. I did get matches, but they weren't the kind of girls that I really want to date. So that being said, because I know that I'm more interesting in person, I play games that I can win. Opposite to Joe, I actually don't do well. I wouldn't say I don't do well, but I don't prefer going to bars and clubs.
Though you know what you're doing there.
But I do know what to do. But it just, it doesn't fit my lifestyle. Right. I'm a morning person. I actually go to bed at 8:30 p.m. but I'm up. Yeah, 8:30 to 9. 10 o'clock if it's kind of getting wild.
If you're being risky, yeah, wild.
Exactly. So I like to wake up at 6:30. I feel like that's when I get the most done, and that's when I'm most creative. So I play games that I can win. I meet a lot of people during the day at coffee shops, events. I would even say lounges. I love wine. I love going for happy hours. So to me, there's no one size fits all when it comes to learning how to be social. The thing is, you gotta play games you can win. Just like choosing the right workout plan and diet for you. We both tried keto, right? I don't know how long you did it, but I give it a fair shot, about 6 months. How long did you try it?
Oh, I've been on and off. I've done it for for 15 years.
Yeah.
I've tried it several times.
Yeah,
Done those
and
15
coming
years, yeah.
coming from both people that have transformed themselves physically, we both have found that the best plan for you, like whether it's getting in shape or improving your social skills, is the one that you can stick to the longest.
And the one that works for you,
Exactly.
right? Like, I'm 120 pounds lower than my heaviest point right now. Probably maybe even 125 or maybe even 130 if I was 350. Yeah, so let's say 125 pounds lower than my heaviest weight, and I'm down. I've been able to keep it off for a while, and I've switched diets and done different things. But someone may say this is the best or that was the best, and if it works for them, it works for them. But some things I've tried did not work for me at all. So you do have to experiment and see what things are going to work for you.
Yeah.
If the dating apps work for your buddy, but they don't work for you, then they don't work for you,
Yeah.
right? If going out to the bars, like, Mike likes to be up early, that's fine. Mike will meet girls in coffee shops. He met his girlfriend in a coffee shop, and I think that's super awesome. He's able to socialize in a lot of different contexts, right? So you have to try different things to see what works out. But that being said, too, you have to give him a fair shot.
Yes.
You can't go out one night
Yes.
and just say, okay, I looked around and no one gave me eye contact and I went home. You got to give it a good
Yeah.
shot and try it out. Mike knows, Mike's actually been to the bars and been very successful. He knows that he can do that, okay? But he just prefers doing things another way as well, too. So you have to try things out to find out what works for you.
Guaranteed. And then my last piece of advice, and I see this a lot with other immigrants. So I noticed that like other Asians or Indians, they try to stick to the same group. They hang out with other people from their country, which is fine. I think that's great. But you're now in America or Canada, right? Like it's gonna be hard for you to assimilate if you don't integrate yourself with the locals. Like you don't partake in stuff that local people do. I think you're gonna be not only are you gonna be out of touch, it's gonna be hard for you to calibrate because there's certain things that are exclusive to your culture that may not do as well in North America, right? So I think it's very important for you to, obviously like keep your, your Indian friends or your Chinese friends or wherever you're from, but at the same time, put in effort to hang out with the locals, right? Like get to know what they're up to. Show interest in them and they will show interest in you back. And the fourth thing is work on your English.
Yeah.
If you're chatting on the phone and you're chatting with someone or on the phone or in person, and nothing wrong with having an accent, but if it's to a point where the other person finds it hard to understand what you're saying, then it's going to be challenging.
Tough,
It's going to be challenging to communicate who you are if there's a language barrier, right? So again, coming from me who didn't speak English when I was 17, I really had to work on my enunciation and my accent. And if I've had a couple glasses of wine, every now and then it comes out. But I say that would be it.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's awesome, man. And I just could say from my own experience, I'd say probably. I'm just trying to think even recently. I'd say like even 75% probably of my students are not white, are not white Americans. I'd say 75% or are foreign or immigrants or minorities of my students. And like I said, I've been teaching for 10 years, so I've seen guys make it happen from every type of race that you could be, right? So, it's only a limiting thing if you think it is. And one thing, like you said in our other video about this was, I'm not foreign, I'm exotic, right? You should embrace those things that you have to offer. It's cool that you're from another place. It's cool that you're different, man. It's cool that you're not average. I think that's awesome. And, you should be proud of who you are rather than thinking it's some type of flaw and whatever, rather than care what some 21-year-old college girl on paper says that she likes, If you're a great person, you put all those things together like Mike's talking about, and you bring an awesome package, then you're a fucking great guy. You should be proud of your race and whoever you are. And anybody and everybody that I've seen has made it happen from any race. So thanks for sharing that, Mike.
You're welcome,
I appreciate
Joe.
you being here. Don't forget to subscribe to Mike's channel as well. I'll have the link below. And to my channel. We got lots of content coming up for you.
Hell yeah.